Hey everyone, and welcome to Carrie's Garage. On this episode, we're going to check out my other Corvair. Since it looks like everyone on the channel really likes the 67 four-door Corvair 500 that I picked up last weekend, I figure it was about time to pull the convertible out of the garage and take a look at it, and let's talk about it some. And here it is. This is my 1965 Chevrolet Corvair Corsa Convertible. See the Corsa badge right there. And yes, because I know people are going to say those are BMW wheels. Those are actually BMW M Parallel sport wheels off of a 7 Series. I needed to put a set of wheels on it for the time being. I happen to have a spare of these laying around. They're not going to stay on the car. I'm probably going to end up putting a set of either 14 or 15 inch Camaro Rally wheels on it or something similar. I don't want to run the factory 13 inch wheels. Tires are kind of difficult to find for it, and I really like the way these look with rallies. Let's go ahead and walk around and take a look at the car. One of the things you can see, and we'll point out, there is some front end damage. Up here, the hood, along the front. I am going to have to find a good body shop to see what they can do about fixing all the damage up front, or possibly doing a front clip of the car. Overall, there's also kind of a big wang right there. Biggest point of this car though is how rust free it is. The rockers down below are incredibly solid. The window frame has a couple of little spots that isn't going to be too difficult to fix. But overall, other than some of the body damage it has, this car is so incredibly solid. If we look back here on the deck lid, there was some spots that I started just sanding and put some primer on it. I did take the 140 badge off since it's a factory 140 car. Original silver painted Cove, which all Corsas had. Now, I always get the name mixed up, but this car is originally Caracas yellow, I believe. I don't know, I always get it mixed up, but there's the original New Mexico car from Santa Fe. Now, other than the carpets, I do have all the interior. There's the back panels that go there. I had the door panels. I took everything off and really thoroughly cleaned them. They just are dusty right now. I need to get the seats reupholstered. Yeah, we'll talk about this guy here in a minute. As you can tell, the instrument panel is missing. Well, it's not missing, it's just out of the car. It's actually sitting right there. Let's take a look at that real quick. Here's the instrument cluster, which I personally think is one of the most attractive clusters of cars of this era. Got the speedometer there, the rev counter. You got a clock, cylinder head temperature, which is good on air-cooled, the gas gauge, and a manifold vacuum, which on a naturally aspirated car with the 140 engine, it's not really necessary. That's more if you have a turbo, it'll show some boost, but you know, this will just show negative and then go to 0 when you get into it. But I'll post up a couple of pictures of the cluster. I took it out, took it all apart, thoroughly cleaned it, used the Meguiar's Plastic X on all the plastic to get it nice and polished. Then I stripped down and I painted it, the original wrinkle. Like I say, it's super dusty, but I can blow it off, make it look really nice. I need to get it reinstalled since it's ready to go. Here's the glove box where it also says Corsa and the wrinkle finish. I'm probably going to redo that one at some point. Dash pad's pretty nice. It has an original AM radio in it that it doesn't work. It's just for decoration. I've gotten to the point now where I really don't care about old cars having radios. I'll just bring a Bluetooth speaker and use my cell phone, so it's not that big of a deal. Also back here, I wire brushed and cleaned up and started priming. It was bare metal. There's no rust. You can see the floors are incredibly solid. There's another set of bezels I have. When I got the car, it didn't have headlight bezels or a front bumper, and it probably just all mangled up. So weirdly enough, a Corvair actually showed up at the U-Pull yard. It was a 65 four-door, but I was able to score the front bumper and the bezels just to kind of make it look a little bit more complete, even knowing it needs quite a substantial amount of body work up here. One of the really awesome things I got recently is this steering wheel. So I just need to get the adapter, and then I'll go ahead and take this wheel off and then put this guy in, and it's going to look so good. I'm really excited about that score. Now, since it is a rear engine car, your frunk, or your trunk, is up here. So I just have a lot of the interior pieces. There's the original rear Corsa air exit, and I think I do have both of the chrome pieces. If not, those aren't too hard to get a hold of. Everything up here looks really good. It does have the cocktail shaker. What that is right there is actually a metal canister filled with fluid in a spring, and it helps with chassis vibrations. There's a problem with these convertibles when back in the day, I mean even Camaros, Vibras, they all had them, that because of how the body would kind of create a resonance and vibrate down when you were driving, those just kind of soak it up. So I'm missing one, but those aren't too hard to find. Got the original 140 air cleaner down there. As you can tell, it's got the original spackle painting all along the inside of the trunk. All very, very solid, not a single rust hole anywhere. Let's go ahead and take a look at the engine. This is the original 140 horse engine. It does have 4 carburetors. You know, in this one, it is missing the secondary. So what it does is, like a normal Corvair, it's got 1 carburetor per side, that's your primaries. And then on the 140s, they had a second set of carburetors which were hooked up to a linkage, which were only used as kind of a progressive secondary. So when you got into the throttle and you push into it harder, those would open up, so it'd be able to breathe better. It has bigger intake valves, and these things, when they're set up right, they really are amazing to drive. This does run not well. I haven't really put a huge amount of time into getting any work done on this. I need to rebuild the carburetors. I need to take all the shrouding off, replace all the rubber for the pushrod tubes, the oil cooler. This thing pees oil like you wouldn't believe. But it's also been sitting for a very long time. I think the last time this car was driven was maybe the early 80s. Now 65 was the first year for an alternator. They were all generators prior to that. Got a mount for, this is where the spare tire would go. Now something interesting this car does have, as you can see, that mount right there, is there is an oil bath air cleaner. So it would have the normal air cleaner up here with the paper filament, and then it would have a rubber hose going down to the oil bath air cleaner, would just help with really dusty conditions, really kind of, you know, suck up, take out some of that dirt. I am missing only 2 pieces of that, but I'm definitely going to get that all back together and on there because it's a really cool piece to have. If we come back here to the instrument cluster and we take a look, this car does have 56,957 original miles. So overall, it's a fairly low mileage original car. It sat in the garage for a really long time. Unfortunately, I mean, the interior and the top, we'll take a look at the top real quick. It was kind of eaten by raccoons while it was sitting in storage. So go ahead and put the top up, which I have already started cleaning really thoroughly. Sanded off the front bow area, primed it really well. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put a new top on it, which I actually have a new top. I'll go grab it and show you. I haven't taken these guys off yet because they are still in its original location for this rear bow right here for the rear window. So what I'll do is I'll replace one side, leave this in its spot. I've got some measurement tools to be able to make sure the measurement is correct. I'll replace one, and then I'll go to the other side and replace it and just make sure that this is where it needs to be, and then I'll be able to put the new top on. But let me go grab that real quick and let's take a look. One of the really cool things when I got this car and I opened up the trunk area, was cleaning it out, I found a brand new convertible top. It's been sitting there for a very long time. Like I say, everything I have is super dusty. I need to wipe it down really thoroughly. What I want to have to do, because it sat rolled up for such a long time, is I don't have to let it sit out in the sun or use a blow dryer and slowly work out any of the wrinkles on it. And then at some point, I'll go ahead and get this installed. I have installed a couple convertible tops before. I did one on a Beetle. I've helped my friend out with a couple on his Corvair convertibles. It's not really hard. It's just there's a lot of very specific intricacies. You have to make sure measurements are correct, it's stapled right, stretching it. Make sure it's not too tight when you close it. You know, make sure it's not too loose. But we'll go ahead and do a video and kind of a series on getting this car going and doing the convertible top on it, which should be pretty fun. And then back here, I've got the replacement window. It's a plastic zip out window. So when you do it, you put the front part up on this bow, you staple it down, you get it kind of stretched, and you put the top over it. And it's kind of difficult. It's not really that bad. The Volkswagen Beetle was way worse because it's multi-layers with the headliner and everything like that. But it does take some time, but we'll go ahead and do that here at some point. I'm not in a huge rush for it. I'm gonna get an engine in that 4-door that I picked up last weekend and get that one running, because I'm really excited to get that driving. This one, I'm really kind of taking my time. I want to spend some good money, get all the body work done. I want to get it completely repainted, do all the interior. I just want this car to look really absolutely amazing is my end all goal. Let's go ahead and start it up. Like I say, it runs, doesn't really run all that great. I need to do a lot of work to it, but got a jumper wire in here to be able to start it from the back. So let's see if we can get fired up. It does have quite a bit of blow by. Haven't really ran this long enough and got it that warm, so I'm sure some of the rings are a little sticky, so hopefully I can get that to stop a bit. And like I say, it runs kind of crappy, but I have driven it up and down the road a couple of times, but I'm not going to drive it today. It actually has no brakes, so I didn't really want to deal with that, but I just want to start up and show you guys. Overall, this is kind of a special car for me. I have had so many different varieties of Corvairs over the years, which I'm working on some of the memory lane episodes, so I'll start showing you guys. But a Corsa Convertible was always the car I was never able to get my hands on until this one. So I really love this car and really looking forward to starting to get some really deep work getting done to it and just making it look amazing and be able to cruise it around with the top down. But for now, because like I say, I don't really want to continue starting projects while I've got other projects going. So I want to get the engine in the truck. I do want to get that four-door running first, and then I'll slowly start getting work done on this guy. But for now, it lives in the garage next to the Bentley. It's comfortable out of the weather. So yeah. Well, that'll wrap it up for the video on the Corsa Convertible. Like I said, I just wanted to show everyone it since I guess you guys really liked the four-door Corvair I picked up. So I figured it was about time to check this guy out. Kind of one of my, like I said, pride and joy. Love this car. Really looking forward to getting some stuff done to it. But thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and see you next time.